I sincerely hope I never again have to read a book with chapter-long diary entries to Ellen DeGeneres. Have you ever finished a book, logged into Goodreads and seen a review that completely encapsulates and captures every single thought, feeling and emotion that you had within one single review? I'm going to be picking 3 books based off of funny negative reviews that I've seen on Goodreads to read in this video. My challenge in this is that I need to learn 1 word that I previously didn't know before picking up the novel. 2, I need to say something good about the book, and 3, I need to finish reading the book. The book that I'm going to be reading in this challenge is Blood Over Bright Haven. The review that made me want to read this book was this one by Shafak. Biggest disappointment of the year. I did love the end though. If you know, you know. We'll see how this goes. It's Friday night. I have put my gorgeous gown on, freshly showered, my room's just been cleaned, and I'm ready to start this book. Reading Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. I think it's a dark academia, but I was told not to read into the summary or anything like that, so I actually have no idea what this is about. I've gone in completely blind. So far, I've finished, I think it's like the first chapter that I finished, and it's so good. It was just full on. So fast paced, I was completely in there, I was rooting for people, and the author managed to do that in 3% of the book. And I have literally the rest of it left. So I am going to carry on reading this and see how it goes. So far so good though. I love fantasy, I love dark academia, so this is a bit of me. And I feel like I know what this is going to be about, but apparently there's a lot of twists and turns from the minimal things I've heard about this book online. So we will see. I am excited about it. But yeah, very, very intrigued so far. It is Saturday morning now. I got some prawn tempura and some California rolls, and I am 17% of the way in. This is really good. I am enjoying myself. So I'm going to eat this and carry on reading. Has been so fun and so good. I am 40% of the way through so far. I don't want to speak about it too much because I feel like if I say anything there's a lot of spoilers, but what I will say is that it is dark academia and fantasy done extremely well. So far the writing has been really good, the prose has been beautiful and really refreshing. I really like it when authors treat me like an intellect. I like being made to feel like I am an intelligent person, and I don't like feeling punished for following along with the words that you've written. So I don't really like harsh world building. I really like subtle, easy to understand, digestible world building, which I feel like M.L. Wong has done a very good job of in this, and I think probably one of the reasons why people are enjoying it. Like, I felt really interested to learn about the magic system here. I felt really interested and I felt really satisfied when I was getting, because we are in that university school education system. I really liked understanding the spells and the logic that was going behind them. It made me feel good. So if you're anything like me when it comes to fantasy novels like that, I think you'll really enjoy this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm also really appreciating how she's fleshed out her characters, because I felt completely drawn to Siona right from the very beginning, because I love stubborn, complicated, unlovable women, and that is exactly her. I completely adore her. So yep, I'm gonna see how much of this I can get done. I was right. Remember that theory that I was talking about at the beginning? I was completely right. I wanted to be wrong, but I was right. The reason I was able to guess this book is because I pay attention to politics, and I pay attention to how politicians speak about groups of people that they believe they are above or have more powerful or are more likely to be chosen by God, and I used that logic to decipher what the author was trying to say here, and that's how I guessed this entire thing, and I wish I couldn't do that, but I did. I have finally finished Blood Over Brighthaven by ML Wong. One of the things that I think I told you guys when I was doing the reading updates is that from the prologue, I felt like I knew exactly where this book was going, how we were going to get there, and I turned out to be right. Is that a negative on the author or the story's behalf? I don't think so. I think it's probably more of a tell kind of the sad and very horrible political times that we live in, that I was able to predict where this book was going, nearly verbatim. I thought that the magic system and the overall world were crafted with a lot of care. I felt like there was a lot of thought that was put into this when this was being written, and I thought that the characters really were so fleshed out in a relatively small time that we were given with them. I thought that the world building was really cool. It didn't feel like info dumping, even though this is very much a standalone novel. And I think probably my most negative part of this review is actually that this is a standalone. I felt like for the amount of magic and character building that the author had done in this, I felt like it deserved a second book. I feel like we could have really understood a lot more. And maybe a lot of kind of that sci-fi commentary about the world that was seeping into this book could have carried on in a second one. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna give this one 4.5 stars. I really loved it. It was so good and I enjoyed every second of it. I couldn't put it down. And yeah, I definitely am gonna go on to read Sword of Kaigen. The word that I learned in this book is civility, something that I have been picking up, especially as I've started to track new words that I'm learning, is that sometimes I make assumptions about what a word could mean, and I don't have like the full definition. I know what civilization means and the other things that come with that kind of pretext, but I didn't know what civility meant on its own. So it's a formal politeness and courtesy in behavior or speech. So that is the new word that I learned from this book. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend you guys to pick it up. I don't think that the negative review fully encapsulated the book, and I don't think it was fair. The first book that I'm going to be reading for this challenge is Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney. The review that I have is I would rather have a conversation with a wall, which I thought was really funny. I really liked Normal People back in 2020. I read it when it was kind of trending on TikTok. It's one of those books that I have thought about since, and I really liked the TV show as well, so I am excited about this. I feel like I'll probably really enjoy it, and also I really like the politics that Sally Rooney includes in her novels, and I'm sure that there'll be something in this that I'll be interested in too. Managed to get a good way through Conversation with Friends, so I am now at 127 pages. It's always interesting going into contemporary books, especially after you've been in like a fantasy world for a bit, because it just feels so easy. You're not having to dissect politics, worlds, languages, and you're very much back in the real world. So it feels a lot easier, especially for my poorly brain, and I really like the way that Rooney writes. It makes me feel very introspective for some reason. Like, it makes me feel like I'm really thinking about my day-to-day actions and what I'm feeling in the kind of mundane moments, and I think that's what she's really good at. The other thing that I really appreciate about her is the fact that her politics are in all of the pages, and especially in a world where people are shying away from, and we are in this era of anti-intellectualism and just refusing to think deeper than the headlines of a newspaper story. I really appreciate it. I feel like it just makes me feel safe with the author, and it also makes me learn some things, and I like googling words that I don't know the meaning of, and there's books that are mentioned in here that I definitely want to pick up. I really like the character, even though she is frustrating me, but I'm really enjoying watching her kind of go through the world. It is the next day. I am not feeling that much better. The sore throat is gone, but now I have like a runny nose. It's all falling apart over here. But I wanted to go through some of my packages because I love watching what other people buy, and these were like my skincare restocks. I don't know what it is. Every few months I ran out of everything at the same time, and it is the most expensive day for me. So I got the Tear serum. This is really good for like soothing. It makes your dark spots go away after you've had a breakout, which is really good. Really enjoyed it. I got 2 of those because I think they were on offer. I also got the Mixune beta glucan essence. I really like this. I kind of like to experiment with toners, and so far this one has been a really good one because I've noticed a difference when it runs out. I feel like it just makes my moisturizer work better. So I got another one of those. I think I got 2 of those as well. Yeah, I got 2 of those because there was a Black Friday sale, and they also gave me some samples. So I've got the Madagascar Centella Ampule. I really like the sunscreen from them. And I also got a Purito one, and I don't know which brand this is. This is a vitalizing shampoo. My mum really likes these samples when I buy it from Korean companies and stuff. Halfway through this one now, and I'm hopefully gonna get done with it today. I feel like I could probably sit down and finish the other half because it's starting to pick up, and I don't know where this is going. It's really interesting, isn't it? Like, I could guess an entire fantasy novel the other day, but I can't guess where this contemporary fiction is going. And I feel like maybe that's because life and character stories are a little bit more unpredictable. I am enjoying it though. I really like Rooney, always have, so it's unsurprising, and I will report back later. One of the fascinating parts of Frances is that I can tell that she is unbelievably young, and it's so interesting because I don't know if when I had read Normal People, I think I read Normal People back in 2021, whether I would have felt like that, whether I would have felt like the character in the book felt young. And that's also been an interesting thing because I don't usually have that, even though I do read YA quite a bit. The other thing is the relationship dynamics in this, which is so fascinating, especially between her and her best friend, because they also have that layered piece where they used to be lovers and girlfriends when they were younger, and kind of how that manifests, and the truth, I guess, of female friendship, which is that it's not always, you know, sunshine and roses. Just like every other relationship in your life, your friendships aren't always the best, and you have arguments, and these two are able to resolve them, and sometimes you like them and sometimes you dislike them, very similar to how you treat your family. And that's also been interesting because I unfortunately do not get to see my friends enough that I get to be annoyed with them anymore, because I just don't see them often enough to get annoyed, which is really sad. So books like this make me miss being younger and being around my friends a lot more than I am now. That is my thoughts and feelings so far. I don't know, have you guys had a similar experience reading Rooney? I just feel like it makes you feel like your entire inner dialogue and your way of thinking is being read out loud, and it's unbelievably uncomfortable. So yeah, those are my thoughts and feelings so far. Okay, so it's been a few days and I am ready to give you guys my review. It was really uncomfortable being inside of Frances' mind. If I'm gonna be really honest, it was uncomfortable being in there. She is a extremely insufferable person. I found it to be grating, but I also think that there is a lot of talent in that Rooney writes her stories and creates these moments through very mundane like things that are happening in people's lives. So you could be having an existential crisis about how the character is like putting the kettle to boil, and that's just the nature of her writing, which I always find is very impressive because I read a lot of fantasy, I read a lot of romance, and usually it's in those big kind of war moments or swoony romantic moments that you're able to feel those kinds of level of emotion. But Rooney has this talent in that she makes you feel a lot in spaces where you didn't think that you would feel something. So it hasn't actually been difficult for me to find good things to say about this. I thought it was well written. I thought it was easy to read. I don't think this is one that is difficult for people to pick up. But I did find myself thinking kind of, what is the point? And it is the same feeling that I had when I read Normal People for the first time. What was she trying to convey? And I think she was just trying to explore how complicated interpersonal relationships are for young people in the dating world and what that's like at university. And she did a pretty good job, I think. It was very realistic. I really enjoyed it. And I like the way she writes. I like the rhythm, staccato kind of vibe. I like it. So I think I'll give this one 4 stars. The word that I learned in this, what was the word that I learned in this one? Word that I learned in this book was moralistic. It's an adjective and it means the overfond. It means to be overfond of making moral judgments about others' behavior and too ready to moralize. One of the characters constantly tells the other character to not act like this, and so it really stuck with me. The next book that I'm going to be picking up in this challenge is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, and the reason I picked this one up is because of this review. How is this book so popular? Did I get a bootleg copy with horrid writing?
Of oppression, the fall of the state is inevitable.
It has been a few days since I last checked in, and I am officially 70% of the way through The Raven Boys. I am really enjoying this. I will say that I have actually been scared. It was creeping me out, so I didn't want to read it at night, so I keep putting it down because there's a lot of like heebie-jeebie vibes going on, but I'm really enjoying it. I am waiting for the dark academia element to come. So as I said, I think I'm like 70% of the way through. I actually haven't been reading the paperback. I've been reading it on my Kindle, and I have about 2 hours left. So I am interested to see like whether the dark academia bits come out for me, because so far I feel like the school and the academic portion of this has been very like at the back end. There's obviously been this kind of subplot that has been weaved in, and it's obviously, I think, probably going to be relevant in the later books. But so far, really enjoying it. I really like the characters. Blue is a really interesting character. I really like the dynamic of her family and who she's living with, her like fun aunts and her mum, who are all kind of fortune tellers, and they run that business from their house. So I'm really enjoying that kind of setting, and I feel like the relationship building between the boys and Blue have been really fun, because you can really tell how the author has like done things. There's this one character that I was confused why they were constantly being kind of put on the back burner, and if you read it then you'll understand why they were put on the back burner, and I was like, oh okay, it makes sense. So that was a really interesting kind of plot that's happened so far. My bullet journal and my book, and I'm ready to discuss. So I really enjoyed this. I'm going to give this one 4.5 stars. I am a big fan of YA fantasy, especially books that came out in the 2000s, because it makes me feel very nostalgic for my childhood, and I'm pretty sure this came out back then. I'm not sure how I missed this, because this would have been exactly what I enjoyed in my teenage years. I thought it was very well written. Something that I really liked about how everything was written in this book was there were a lots of very kind of showing moments, and then she would put in these really cool phrases and sentences that I just thought was so beautiful, and I highlighted so many things. So I will put those up on the screen so you guys can see what I was saying. I didn't give this one the full 5 stars just because I felt like it lagged in the middle. There was just like a little bit of, I don't know what's going on right in the middle of the book. I think it was because she was laying Easter eggs for the next books, because I believe this is a series. I think if those Easter eggs like come to pass, and then I'll understand why she put them in this one, I'll probably bump this one up. I thought the writing was really, really good. I really liked the characters. It felt like I was making friends with Adam, Noah, Ronan. It was a fun time. I really liked Blue's house. I felt like the use of scenery in this was really well done, because we had this very cozy, chaotic psychic's house full of all these women, and then you'd had this kind of cold, dormitory where all these boys were staying, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, so 4.5 stars. I feel like if you enjoy YA fantasy, if you like, I think this is very much a character driven story, even though there's quite big plot line in this. You will enjoy this. This one is a classic for a reason. I don't think I've ever seen anyone say anything bad about this one actually. I have this present because I have been tracking the words that I've been learning, and I actually picked up quite a few words from the Raven Boys. So the first one was asphodita, a fetid resinous gum obtained from the roots of a herbaceous plant used in herbal medicine and Indian cooking. And the Indian cooking part was so funny because they were talking about this herb in the context of like dead bodies and potions, and they were like, how could this also be present in Indian food? And so I thought that was really fun. And then the other one was a very cool word, which is perpetuum, which is forever, so to do something forever. And then the last one I learned in this one was quiddity, the inherent nature of someone or something. So really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I really enjoyed filming it. Let me know what you guys want from me next. I am currently in the middle of filming my next video, which will be a reading vlog on the Raven Boys, and I am also filming my reading journal for 2025. So let me know if there's anything else that you want to see from me. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!